Weddings-ish, 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 with Jove.
This episode is brought to you by Generation Tux, the perfect suit or tuxedo delivered straight to your door. GenerationTux.com. Hi, hello. Thanks so much for tuning in to Weddings-ish with Jove, a podcast about all things love, joy, and weddings-ish with a special guest each episode. I am thrilled to be meeting for the very first time the talented, creative, and fun Maurice Harris, founder of Plume and Plume Coffee. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yes, thank you so much for joining me.
It's my pleasure.
I have been a fan for a very long time.
Thank you very much.
I discovered you on HBO. You had a show that was a flower competition show. It was really such a beautiful show, watching people literally watching their creativity bloom. I'm curious how that came to be.
They reached out to me. I forgot who exactly reached out to me. But I feel like it's happened a couple times where people reach out to me for things, but because a lot of people say all kinds of strange things on the internet or DMs and this and that I'm just like, when people are like, oh, you need to sign this NDA, or I'm just like, I don't have time for this.
Yeah, it's not real.
So it's not real until it's real.
Yeah.
So they reached out to me. And then I was like, oh, that sounds kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And I was very skeptical because people have reached out to me about these kind of things before. But then as it kept going, I was like, oh, this is kind of real.
Yeah.
And the thing that really hooked me, because I try not to do things unless it aligns with like how I operate in the world.
Yeah.
And the thing that really got me was that they were very interested in, like, all of the judges. We were all florists. It wasn't just like some random
actors,
host person or a person
creators
that's been doing it for like a couple of years. We all were powerhouses in the flower field ourselves.
Yeah.
So, and they really relied on your expertise.
Yeah.
They really relied on when we thought a challenge was a little too ridiculous or a little too inauthentic, or, there's a balance because it's TV.
It's TV. You want a little drama.
But overall, it was really they did their best to make a TV show, right? It's a TV show, feel as close to how we would be in real life as florists.
Yeah, sure.
And that was attractive to me. Because then they were like, no, we want your critical eye. No, we like that it's realistic. No, we think that your point of view. They definitely wanted people that had like more of a specific point of view to be a part of it. And so, and I would say the best thing that came out of it was my relationship with my friend Elizabeth. So I met one of my other co-judges was Elizabeth, and she's like one of my dearest friends.
From the show.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I also loved your fashion on the show.
Oh, thank you.
Right away, I was like, who is this person? What are they wearing? And what are they going to wear next episode?
Style is a huge part of my existence.
Yeah.
And if I have an excuse to indulge even more, I totally will.
If there's a camera, you mean?
Yeah. I mean, even if there's not, I will indulge.
Yes.
If I see something beautiful that I like, I will get it. If it has flowers, I like justify purchase immediately.
Yeah, it's a business expense.
Totally.
So I want to hear about your genesis. I went to your Instagram, and the furthest back it goes was 2012.
Yeah.
They were some fun photos, but I'm curious how you began to work with flowers.
It's like well, it's not even that interesting. I guess my grandmother just celebrated her 90th birthday. She's a Christmas baby. And we had a big extravaganza for her.
Yeah.
She's a florist and a milliner. She makes church lady hats.
Okay.
And so I used to just watch her as a kid create. And I think like my grandmother is like very fabulous and like refinedly over the top.
Okay. Refinedly over the top.
Yeah.
That needs to be on a t-shirt.
Yeah, she's pretty iconic actually.
I love it.
And I really like her sensibility. And so I knew I've always been a creative, always been like kind of an artist, but I was trying to find like my own life hack, if you will, where how can I be creative but not be broke? A poor, starving artist.
That's the hard balance.
Good luck with that, Maurice. But I felt like flowers was like I used to work in display design. Like
for store windows?
Yeah, I worked at Barney's. I worked at Juicy Couture.
R.I.P. Barney's.
I know. R.I.P. Juicy Couture.
Also,
low-key. When I started there was 3 stores. When I left, there was like 113 in like a 4.5-year span. And I was a part of the production team that produced all of the windows and produced all the props.
From concepting to building to like all of it. Yeah. Which is a fabulous job. I mean, it seems that way.
Yeah, it was very creative. It was very interesting. It was interesting because it wasn't the most supportive place in terms of like my boss wasn't very nice to me. But I got paid really well. Yeah. And then my job at Barney's was like so cool and so fun as a display person, but I didn't get paid very well. So interesting.
Yeah. But
no money. Also would always try to navigate and find my own path. And I was always sourcing things downtown at the flower market for all of our crafting projects and stuff like that. And so I just would like peek around and explore and ask people questions. And I just started to kind of play around. And it turned into 13, 14 years later, still doing flowers.
Did you start doing like arrangements for individuals, for companies, weddings? Like how did you?
Yeah, so I was like the office pool arrangement guy. Okay. So it was like, oh my God, we want to get our boss flowers. Can we like get money together and like you? And I was like, oh yeah, I'll totally make it. And so like if you gave me $100, I spent $100 on flowers. Yeah. So people were like, oh my God, you're so good. And I'm realizing in retrospect, I wasn't that great. I just was
spent all the money
on the flowers.
On the most beautiful flowers you could buy.
Yeah. So
oh my gosh.
And that has definitely come to bite me in the behind, as that is how I like kind of created my aesthetic and my vibe. Was just like not more is more, but like
abundance
and opulent assortment of flowers. But then that doesn't really consider margin.
The dollars and cents don't add up there. Yeah, but this is a common theme. I have a lot of friends who are florists, and it's the same thing. Like they'll bid on a job for me, and then they'll be like, "I just spent all the money," and I was like, "You can't do that again. Like you have to have some." But they go to the flower market and they fall in love with the beautiful flowers that are, of course, the most expensive flowers, and it's hard.
It's a tricky balance because I think people's expectations versus people's perception of value are just usually so incongruent. Yes. And the thing that always I find challenging with weddings, like I will not do your wedding unless you have a wedding planner and a wedding planner that really understands what it takes to do that, because it's usually, generally speaking, the first time somebody's ever spent that kind of money on something that is so ephemeral. Yep. And so if you're looking at a $20,000 price tag for flowers, but your guest count is 175, you're like, from people that are in the industry,
it should be more than enough.
That's base level. Yeah. Like, there's a lot, especially if, people come in with these Barbie dream house.
Flowers everywhere.
Like I remember back in the day when Raf Simons did that show with Dior where all the rooms were covered, head to floor to ceiling in blooms. Yeah. And so people would often send me that as inspiration. And I'm like, that's a multi-million-dollar installation.
Yeah, period.
And you have $30K. Yeah. And that is not me scoffing.
No, because $30K is a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. Yes. But it is not a room full of flowers.
Correct. Yeah.
And so I think, and because, now the flower industry is very saturated and it's like an easy place it's kind of like the 90s version of jewelry designers to me, where
anybody can do it.
Yeah, anybody can do it. Anybody can kind of get access to the materials and the stuff. And so, but nobody really talks about like, what is a proper markup? Correct. What is a proper thing? And so nobody has a general standard. Yeah. And the consumer is just like, well, I'm just going to go with the cheapest bid. Yes. Not understanding that
what that means.
At all.
Yeah. And whether they're going to get silk flowers or fresh flowers or old flowers.
Or experience. Or like stress.
Yes.
Or people really don't, I think it's very hard for people to really consider that their time is valuable. And so most people, including myself sometimes, don't value our own time.
Yeah.
And so then we don't value your time.
Correct.
And as a result, it's like, oh, people will pay top dollar for flowers.
Yeah.
But the flowers is kind of like the cheapest part of this whole
Labor
operation.
is real. Yeah.
It's the most expensive part of our business. You know, it's everybody wants to pay next to nothing for everything. But wants to be paid top dollar for anything they do.
100%.
You know, and so that makes no sense.
That's the logic of where we're at financially. It's a wild world. So do you do weddings now, or that's not necessarily your happy place?
You know, I don't do a lot of. I've come to a place where I was getting very resentful of this dichotomy. And how I felt like I was fighting tooth and nail to prove my worth, which is interesting. Tangent. After watching the Renaissance documentary, I'm like, oh, the most powerful woman in the world even finds it hard to like
know her worth.
Or like she knows her worth, but like for people to understand her worth. Like that's insane to me.
That she struggled with that.
I was like, wait, what? People are questioning her like she doesn't know what she's talking about?
Yes.
So obviously, if she's having that issue,
we're all having.
Good luck to the rest of us. So
we're all screwed.
I kind of like gracefully bowed out a little bit because I found that I didn't want to be in a position where I was resentful for the thing that I think brings so much beauty and joy to the world. And so I just needed to work differently because I'm in that weird stage where I'm not so humongous that I garner all the projects and people just like no, and it's like full on like 30 people working at my company, blah, blah, blah,
one given time,
and I'm not small enough where it's just like, oh, I'm just doing this out of my garage.
And a freelancer here and there.
You know, it's like, I really have to, you know, when your payroll, I mean, I operate a very small operation, and my payroll is still $24,000 a month.
Wow.
That's a lot of money.
For the coffee shop and the flower?
No, for
just
my
the
flower
flowers.
Business.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's like
including yourself
people.
Or just your team and your costs? I knew you didn't count yourself. I knew it.
No.
That's a lot of overhead.
Yes.
Wow.
People are expensive.
Yes.
And people need to have livelihoods.
And pay for their insurance and their life.
Like, and it's still, to me, it's still not even enough.
Yeah.
And so when you understand like that you have taxes to pay, you have insurances to pay, you have rents to pay, you have
cars
to pay, gas to pay, employees to pay, all that stuff goes in the cost of this arrangement.
Yeah.
And, you know, I treat my my flower business as more of an art practice and not just a vendor that like mimics whatever is happening. I get inspired by whatever you're into, and then we interpret that and do something cool.
Yeah.
That isn't for everybody.
Sure.
And so to stay with an integrity of what I'm interested in, God, this is such a long answer.
No, but I love it. But this to me is, you're either in the business of making money or creating art. I think the middle is a very weird and sometimes impossible place to be.
Yeah, it's very hard to toe that line. If you have integrity where you're like, I could exploit my employees or I could exploit my vendors.
And you could sell a lot of cheap shit for a high markup with your name on it. But
it's just not how I am.
Not what you want, not what you're about.
Literally not how I am.
Yeah.
And so I kind of gracefully bowed out a little bit.
Yeah.
So unless a project literally makes sense to me, won't do it. I own my coffee shop with my little brother, and we really want to open a second location. But like, we know how much money we make at our current location.
Yes, you do the books. You know what's going on.
And then we're looking at the cost of rent, and we're like,
10-year lease.
No one is selling this much coffee.
Who can?
Starbucks.
Yes and no.
Blue Bottle.
That's true.
You know, like, but Blue Bottle is backed by Nestle.
Yep.
Starbucks is, you know, a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
Well, and it's not good.
You said it, not me.
I'm just saying.
But it's true.
It's like it's not a coffee experience. They are a volume business. If you go in there, they're making a drink without, like I'm a coffee snob, so it drives me crazy. But if it's the only option, we're going there. But the machine does all the work.
Yeah, there's no nuance there.
There's none.
But I think, with that said, the places that can afford those rents that are available are big corporations.
Yes.
And so more bespoke artisanal brands, the point of entry is just so expensive
too
and
high.
so hard.
Yeah.
Or it's like you've literally guaranteed that you'll cut off your right leg if it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And you're like,
is it worth it? Is it worth rolling the dice?
That's a weird risk to take.
Yes, 100%.
Where, and so what we realized is like everybody was getting paid. Everybody gets paid at our coffee shop, but my brother and I.
Got it.
Of course, like I have to take draws from my flower business and stuff, but I don't like take a proper salary like I should. And that's not sustainable.
Yeah.
So, we really have been just trying to like let it incubate, let it grow organically and really take off. That's why we all have all of our other jobs. My brother is a corporate banker. I have my thing that I do on the side so that it can stay true to what it is. Right.
Because if you bring in investors, it's over. Because they say they want to support you and then they kick you out. It's like a whole awful game.
Happen multiple times. That's what happened at Juicy Couture.
Yeah.
It was really sad. And so I don't know. I think trying to operate in a capitalistic model and being creative and having integrity and caring about people, it doesn't work.
It's difficult or impossible. Yeah.
It literally doesn't work because capitalism only works by exploitation. And so either you're being exploited, you're exploiting your employees, you're exploiting, a product, or you're exploiting your customers.
Yep.
And it's kind of icky.
It is. Is that why you started your series, Capitalism Doesn't Care About Your Creativity?
Yeah.
I love it, but I'm curious about that.
It's because like everything, like this is probably the second time my business has like imploded and I was like, why?
Yeah.
Like people
what's
really
the
like
reason?
what I do.
Yeah.
Or like people, this time it was like a combination of COVID and the cost of flowers going up and people's expectations going up and people's budgets going down.
Yes. Up, down.
Yeah, I was like, and like having to take this harsh reality that like the way that I've been running my business and doing things is not working.
Yeah.
And I was like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you have done some incredible, large-scale projects with massive brands.
I'm a very, very accomplished.
Yes, the list is long.
It's insane.
Of brands that have hired
brands, people.
Yes.
Art institutions. Like I kind of have done it all.
Yes.
And I'm very good at what I do, and I'm also like, don't have a sustainable life. Sure, I could be more fiscally responsible. Like I'm going to take 30% responsibility for that.
More than I would take.
I love that for us. But I think, kind of like the other thing that has been playing on my mind a lot is Taraji P. Henson is on the Color Purple tour right now.
I saw that whole thing.
And like she's just being like, how accomplished do I have to be where like I get the same pay as my counterparts?
Yes.
Without question.
Yeah.
And so people literally will email me on a weekly of how they want to work with me or how they love what I do so much. And then when I see the budget, I'm like,
we just can't.
I literally can't even purchase the flowers for that.
Yeah. But I want to know, like, because in events, in weddings, PR, fashion, it's all the same, this sort of unrealistic expectation. Like, no one talks about what it really costs. Not in weddings, not in no one. Like, the home they buy, the wedding they had, the clothes they wear. So, like, how could a consumer no. You know what I mean? Like how it's not your fault. It's not my fault. Our job's not to educate people on the price, but I'm curious like where the solution is long term for people because it's exhausting.
I would challenge that a little bit.
Please.
Like, I do think that the onus is on us as people that are selling something, right? It's like Starbucks spent 30 years proving that like hot water poured over some beans was worth $4 or $5.
Yes.
It wasn't just
now
overnight.
7 or 8
Correct.
in New York.
It wasn't just overnight that happened.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
And then created a whole industry
around it.
Where like my coffee shop can exist because Starbucks exists.
That's true. Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And so they did a lot of the footwork of proving the value for this thing that before that was just like Yum Yum Donuts or Dunkin' Donuts or whatever. A donut and a coffee.
Yeah.
Like Folgers in your cup.
Yeah.
Like
for $1, for less than $1.
Mm-hmm. So I think there are these things where I can get very egotistical around what I expect people to know about me or about my business. And the reality is people just don't.
Yeah.
And whose responsibility is it to say something other than me?
Sure.
Right? I mean, obviously, like, and people don't say things because generally speaking, we're all kind of lying. You know, it's like my fun fact is when I thought I was just like balling out of control, I bought like a really fancy car.
Okay. Because you thought that was the trajectory you were on.
Yeah. Knowing in the back of my
there
mind,
was a voice.
I was like, I don't know. Are you there yet?
Yeah.
But I was like, it's looking so good. Everything is going the right direction. And I can't get rid of the car.
Yeah.
Like the value versus what I owe on the car is just so out of...
Well, in the moment you drive off the lot,
it's so out of whack that like I'm kind of stuck with the car in this very bizarre way. I've tried to get rid of it multiple times, trust me. And I will spare you the details.
What kind of car?
It's a Tesla Model X.
Oh, okay.
And it's very beautiful and I love my car.
Yes.
But low-key, I can't afford it.
She's cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yeah. And I think people spend more time doing everything in their power to keep up that illusion than like to tell the truth.
Yes, you're not wrong.
You know?
Yes.
And because it's like kind of embarrassing. It's like ridiculous. I'm a 42-year-old man that like didn't save or budget properly, bought this fancy car because like my business was doing a certain thing. All these things were going in a certain place. I was on TV. I was doing this.
You're on TV.
Blah, blah,
you
blah,
have brand
blah, blah.
deals. You're working. It makes sense.
And then you're like, but it doesn't. Because the people that I know that have like sustainable money drive like Honda Civics. Mm-hmm. Like it's like the money is invested in a way that it can keep making money.
Yes.
And our society doesn't teach that.
No,
but
they teach flashy, now, big, show your wealth. Yeah, but...
So, I don't know. How do we get there? I'm not sure, but...
We were talking about coffee and capitalism and why you got to your Instagram. I mean, I love them. You're just...
Thank you so much.
It's just this sit down with this honest moment where you're just sharing your thoughts, but I'm curious where the inspiration for that comes from. I know now about capitalism, but...
Yeah, I think I've always been really reluctant to... I was very reluctant to be on the HBO show. Mm-hmm. I was very reluctant to... because I am such an over-the-top person.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to be cornered in that, like, boxed into that. Because
this is you.
I'm a full rendered person that has lots of different sides.
Dimensions,
And I know that, like, the loudest voice gets the most attention.
Mm-hmm. And the next deal. And
I was like, I don't want to be, like, shucking and jiving in this way that feels inauthentic to myself.
Yeah.
My true self. And so... being on TV and people being like, oh, can you amp that up a little bit more? Or, oh, can you? And it's just like, no.
Yeah. Can you do that again, but with more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there definitely was like the reason I ended up signing up for it because there was room for me to just like be.
Yeah.
But then like on the flip side of that or the same side of that with my Instagram and my content person was like, people would like like you. And people like want to know more about you. And I'm like, I don't want anybody to know anything about me.
Yes.
Like I want that to be for me.
Yeah, this is my flowers and my coffee. This is not me.
Yeah, and I want to be able to let my art speak for itself.
Yeah.
As in, like, you know, my white counterparts get to do that. Like, why can't I do that?
For sure.
And I found that I think my point of view, my personality, like kind of overshadows or outshines my creativity in a way that like, oh my God, am I the problem? I'm the problem.
It's you.
Oh boy.
Well, now you got to answer
Sorry.
it.
No, well, let's see. Hello? Hello? I knew it was a scammer.
Telemarketer.
I only answered it because it was a 916 number, which is Sacramento, and my grandmother's in Sacramento.
And
but
she
that wasn't
always
her
gets
number.
she always gets a phone call.
And I don't know how to silence an Apple Watch.
I don't know. I can't do watch it. I don't know.
I just started wearing this.
Do you like it?
I do. I was wearing it on my left hand and I hated it. And then I put it on my right hand and I like it.
But do you feel more glued to your device now that it's here and in your pocket?
No.
No. It's more like a watch.
Yeah. And it's like, it makes me feel more committed to getting my steps in.
Oh, because you can see it right here.
Yeah. And I'm like, it's really tracking
Are you
it.
10,000 a day or how many?
Hell no. I'm at like four to six.
Hell no. I forget you're in LA. New Yorkers are like 10,000 to
hardcore.
20,000, but we don't have cars like you do.
No.
4 to 6 isn't bad if you have a car.
Yeah, I mean, I have a
Tesla
black
Model
standard. Yeah. I have a black standard poodle, so I have to walk him a lot.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that's how you get your steps. Okay, so back before we were interrupted by not grandma, you were saying...
what is this ring? I'm sorry. I'm my ADHD.
No, so I just got engaged.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow, your man did good.
He did very good.
Oh, my God.
It's by an Australian designer. A queer Australian design.
That's beautiful.
Thank
It's
you.
like a signet with stones, but not.
Yeah, and then they're like little sun marks. I'm still. It literally happened 2 days ago, so I'm like.
Oh my gosh! Congratulations!
Thank you.
That's so awesome.
I'm on like cloud nine. I also don't wear or own any jewelry, so this is like
it really stuck out. Your nails and the ring, and I was like, I need to know about that.
It
ring.
is a new thing that just happened, so it's weird and
But
it's
you
wonderful.
have an earring.
Yes, this is also new, but it's so small I forget about it.
Okay.
So you're right, I do have jewelry.
Yeah.
And then, but I don't wear like anything, and this is heavy. Like,
oh, I know.
It's like this. This is not.
Oh my God.
Right? Like.
Yeah, that's not insignificant.
No, it is not. I'm.
That is spectacular.
I know. I'm overwhelmed. It's
guys.
I know. Come on.
Chocolate diamonds, yellow canary diamonds,
There's a canary in
regular diamond.
It's too much. It's too much.
Wow.
I know.
Somebody loves you.
I know. It's 3.5 years.
Wow. Do you really feel loved?
Surreal.
Do you feel seen?
I do. I feel loved. I feel
Did you
seen.
see it coming?
No, I think he thought I was going to do it as the planner, like I would do it and he told me exactly what he wanted. He wanted to be proposed to in Versailles, in the peasant village.
Okay.
And then I've never been. And then we'd go over the
That's
hill
interesting. That's
and his
cute.
whole family would be there. I mean, he had it planned out. So I sort of thought like, how am I going to do that? He's going to know the moment we go to Versailles that it's, and he's not really like good at secrets and I'm not great at secrets. So I was sort of like, we're in love, we're happy. What's the rush? Like our life is very good. Mm-hmm. But he really wanted to be engaged and to be married. And so he just decided to do it. And I didn't really think he would do it. Like I thought it was kind of in my hand.
The ball was in your court.
Yeah. And like he's annoyed because he wanted it sooner. And I was like, but we're happy and we're in love. Like, it'll happen when it happens. Mm-hmm, so then he just made it happen. So I can't be mad at that. Exactly.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not waiting for you anymore. So
I love that for you guys.
Thank you. But I do feel seen. He knows he's my longest relationship, 3.5 years. We met during COVID. Wow. And I do feel very seen. He knows everything about me in every way. And he's the most genuinely kind and caring person. Like you feel like $1 million when you're around him, no matter who you are.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Wow.
Yes. Yeah, it's exciting.
I'm very, very happy for you.
Thank you. Me too. It's
very
still
beautiful.
like feeling unreal that it happened. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
yes,
amazing.
You're the first person to see it. Yes.
Exclusive.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
First. Okay, back to you. Instagram, capitalism, doesn't care about your creativity.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I just like knew that I've always been reluctant to do that, even though I know it's where I thrive or where I want to shine or something.
Are you a comedian? You are very talented on camera.
I'm edited very well on camera.
Okay.
Yeah, I am funny.
Okay.
But I'm not that funny.
Okay.
I think I'm funny, but then like when I'm trying to be funny, my staff does not laugh at me.
Got it. So they're honest with you.
Oh my God, yeah.
Great.
So I think just like, I think I live a funny life.
Okay.
Like, and my perspective and my point of view is a little kooky.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just always like, you're so weird.
Yeah.
Or like, what? Like, and I think that about them.
Sure.
So like, the way we cut, it's just a great
that's
dynamic.
That's why it's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's the reality TV show. Your coffee shop, your flower shop, you and your poodle and your grandma.
Yeah,
I would watch that every day. I mean, like.
Totally. It's a pretty funny dynamic. I actually am constantly like, I would watch this.
Yes, we do watch it. So like to watch it in a different way, I feel like would be amazing.
Yeah.
It's it's a beautiful thing. So the coffee shop, I'm curious how the genesis of that in relation to flowers, like Bloom and Plume was first.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely a person that has lots of ideas.
Okay.
And I'm kind of grand in those ideas.
Yeah.
My brother came to me and was like, we need to... Here's the other thing about flowers that's really interesting. I think it's a young man's game. Like it is so...
Energetically?
It's so labor
physically,
intensive.
Yeah.
And the more you grow, the more like all of your clients want to see you. So if you're growing, like even though you can have a quote unquote protege or something like that.
Sure.
Like at the end of the day, all of my clients wanted me to show up.
They want your face, your name, your energy.
And so how many parties could I do in a week or in a day or in a weekend where like I can show my face at?
Yeah.
And so it just wasn't a sustainable model where when you're getting started, of course you're doing everything.
Of course. You're hustling. You're excited. Every new job is,
and
even if you're going to lose money.
to do it.
Yes.
Right?
You're building.
So I realized, and my brother helped me to realize this, that he was like, you need something that doesn't take you to have to do it every day. My coffee shop is a couple blocks from my apartment that I've lived in for like the last 20 years.
Which is in Echo Park, right?
Yes. And my studio is like next door.
Yep.
Separated by a staircase that goes to the apartments upstairs. And I saw so much change happening in my neighborhood rapidly.
Yeah.
And I was like, somebody's going to open an annoying coffee shop. It's going to bug me.
Yep.
So let me be the change I want to see.
So why don't I do it?
Yeah.
Amazing.
So it was a combination of that. And also, I wanted a physical experience of Bloom and Plume that was sustainable.
Yeah.
So a flower shop, I'm telling you, it is the funniest thing. When we used to do daily orders, it's like I would go and I would shop for flowers and blah, blah, blah. And I would be like, okay, I love these colors. And then everybody would want all white. And then like the next week I get all white.
And everybody wants something
color.
else.
And I'm just like, yes. This is just so crazy. So I was like.
And annoying.
Annoying. So opening a flower shop was a no-go.
A no-go for you.
But I was like, what is an experience that people still want to go to?
Yep.
That still, like, coffee is a luxury. Flowers are a luxury.
Yes.
And what is a luxury that people actually naturally afford themselves? And thanks, like I said, thanks to, you know, these bigger coffee conglomerates, they have created a world where a luxury coffee experience is an everyday luxury that we afford ourselves.
Yes, 1 to 2 sometimes, 2 to 3.
And so I was like, oh, I think this is like a perfect blend of where we're at and where we want to go. Because all the things that we do were just so over the top.
Yeah.
So exclusive.
Yeah.
So high end that I wanted.
It wasn't accessible, really.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
And I wanted Bloom and Plume to be more accessible.
Yeah.
And an elevated experience, an elevated aesthetic coming from a Black person for everybody to experience.
Yeah.
Like it was normal.
Yeah.
That was really, really important to me. And I feel like in that way it is very successful.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how it came about. To create community. My favorite is like when somebody's like, "Oh, I was just at your coffee shop on a date," and I'm like, yes.
How did it go?
Yeah.
Well, there's another show, First Dates at Bloom and Plume. You know what I mean? Like that's your next series for Instagram. Oh my gosh,
that's good.
It's a beautiful space. Literally, my good friend lives in Echo Park. I stayed at her house. She doesn't have air conditioning or heat, and I was like,
I got to get out.
I need to get out of here to work. And I looked for coffee shops, and it was yours. And we were talking about the podcast, and I was like, this is wild. So I spent more hours than I should have in your coffee shop. And it is community. I mean, the people that came in and out, the joy of people coming, seeing a place for them. And their joy and the videos and the photos and the merch. Like it was, a woman came with her cat on a leash. I mean, it was just like, I was like, there was a date happening. There was a whole family. And this girl was like, she brought her parents and she was just obsessed. It was just like a magical afternoon of working.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just kept buying something every hour because I was like, I know this seat is important.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful thing that you created. And it is an experience people can have.
It's important to me to illustrate the importance of aesthetics and beauty and how it actually transcends you to like feel better about yourself, feel better about your existence, transports you to a better place, in my opinion. Like, I remember being young and, like, going into designer stores, like going into Barney's or Gucci or whatever, not having the money to afford anything in there. Still
But you could walk around.
Yeah, and it was such a beautiful experience aesthetically, but I also still felt so intimidated and not welcome.
Of course, 100%.
And so I was like, well, that sucks. Now I understand why nobody gets to experience this or like this air of like you don't belong here.
Yep.
But how do you bring an elevated sense of aesthetics where you can see the importance of what it means to be transported into a space and how it just like makes you dream and makes you feel, but where everyone's welcome.
Where it's accessible.
And it really warms my heart when people are there and they get to experience that.
Yeah.
Like, what is my most favorite thing is when people don't know that I own it or I'm a part of it. And I get to just see people walk in and be like, oh my God, this place is so cool. Oh my God, I love it here. And,
the discovery.
And I'm like,
yeah.
Yay, it's working.
You just felt it like, I'll never forget this girl and her mom and dad. And like, it was like the best drink she ever bought. And she did it on camera. And she was like, Mom and Dad, we're here. Like, it was just like her joy. Like, I stopped working and I just was like, I'm soaking in your joy in this place. And it just kept happening. Like the visceral joy of people. You know, you look at like Starbucks or these big chains and it's like, you don't talk to people. You go in, you get your order. Now it's all on the phone. You don't even talk. You don't even order anymore. You walk in. If it's not there when you get there, you're angry. And if you have to ask for a straw, God forbid, there's human connection. You know, you take it and you go. But this was like the opposite of that, which I found to be really endearing and probably why I sat there all day.
Yeah. I mean, it's with design, you know, and I think that is one of the things that if you're willing to listen, I'll tell you about, but it's not important that you know exactly that it is with intention.
You did that,
that you're like, God, the vibes in here are so great. Like, what is that? And you're like, yeah, that's literally on purpose. So that you are transported into a space.
And the staff as well. I was like, I don't know what to drink. Like, I just had they could have just been like, next. You know, I'm also maybe from New York, so I'm a little jaded. California people are a little bit nicer. But they were just so warm and lovely and like checked in on me. Like, just... It's a vibe. So bravo, and you have to
Thank
open a
you.
second one. We've got to figure that. I'm
We're
saying we.
working
Now I'm
on
in
it.
on it. I'm like, we have to figure this out.
We are working on. I mean, I think in
Yeah.
5-10 years we'll probably have multiple locations.
Sure.
But I think because we have such integrity in the way that we want to work and who we want to employ and who we want to service, that we just don't want to be in a situation where we have to compromise those things for money.
And you shouldn't have to.
Right?
Yeah.
Where I think that's the other thing with like Bloom and Plume, the flower part of the business, is because I am so committed to my aesthetic, my way of doing things, I had to keep pivoting and figure out other ways
to bring in revenue
so that I wouldn't have to water down the vision.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, when you look at brands like Prada or Marni, or even Rick Owens, it's like so specific.
Yeah.
So specific. Apple.
Yep.
So specific.
Niche. It's niche.
like the way that they're going to do it. And eventually you're going to get on board and you're going to see it.
Yep.
And the people that are with it will be with it.
Yep. And if they're not,
that's okay.
Yeah.
Because there's other stuff,
Yeah.
And so I think really having a strong point of view allows you to be more sustainable. Actually.
I love that. And it's hard.
Oh, yeah.
It's not even hard. It's extremely difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Because you question your own point of view, your own taste, your own eye, your own creativity, and then you look at the dollar signs of what's coming your way to create something that isn't you.
And you're like, is it worth it?
And you look at the bills and you 100%.
Because if it was just about the money, Bloom and Plume Coffee would be closed. It doesn't bring in enough. Like, we break even.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of money, a lot of effort, a lot of attention to like break even. I would do better in real estate or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If that's what the goal was for. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
But it's bigger than that.
Yeah.
My brother is also a mentor he teaches financial literacy to high school kids.
Amazing.
And I think the other reason why we keep it open is it's a physical example
of what you can do,
of
what
how
you
some of
can
these things
achieve.
work. Yes.
Because it's wild in school that we're not taught about how to actually do things in life that could be helpful to you, like write a check, balance a checkbook, like how to spend money, how to save money. Like,
ridiculous.
It's crazy. Literally, it's like that would be so helpful for all of us.
Instead,
how much rent can I
like,
afford? Like, what is a valuable way to apply for a job, to have an interview, like just real things in everyday life. Instead, we're learning, I don't even know what we're learning.
The
but it's
Pythagorean theorem.
Yes. Yes, which math was not my subject.
Huh?
I did not. Math was not for me.
Yeah,
I did not do well.
Or the scientific method, which is like useful.
When? Where?
For scientists.
Yes, not for you and not for me.
Hannah.
Not for anybody else.
Like, even an engineering class would have been like really, really helpful to learn how things work.
Yes,
like,
the basics.
How do I put together this microphone, and what are the mechanics that make it work, and why does it make sound? Like,
and why is the weight here, but it can be all the way over here?
Yeah, like that's because I mean that's literally something I use
all the time,
every day.
For sure.
I remember the only class I've ever dropped out of was in high school. I took a drafting class.
Okay. Did you want to be an architect or you? Okay.
But then I went into fashion design. I went to art school and I started in fashion design, which is like soft architecture.
Okay. For clothing.
Yeah. It's like you're still building a pattern. You're doing all the things.
Shapes,
Everything has
lines,
to like
math.
line up perfectly. And like you're taking something flat and building something three-dimensional.
3D. Yeah.
Insane. Then I got into flowers, which is another form of architecture because like it has to stay up. It
in
has
a vessel
of
a certain size. Yeah.
So I just love the thing I really tried to escape.
It's what you're doing.
I was never able to escape. I feel like that is like quintessential life. You can run, but you can't hide.
No, not from who you are or what you love.
Yeah.
It'll find you in the end.
Yeah.
Planning a wedding can be stressful, but Generation Tux understands. They've designed a suit and tuxedo rental process that you can complete entirely from home. It's easy, convenient, and stress-free. Forget about store visits, last-minute pickups, and ill-fitting suits. With Generation Tux, you'll choose from over 25 premium wool suits and tuxedos, customizable with hundreds of accessories and colors. Plus, you'll get free shipping and delivery 14 days before your wedding. Free replacements, prepaid returns, and amazing customer service. Visit GenerationTux.com for the perfect suit or tuxedo delivered straight to your door. I have a couple of questions from some fans.
Oh boy.
I know, they're lovely. I think they're good. Okay, so Crazy Balls on Instagram. It's a woman.
Oh, I was like...
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify.
I have crazy balls.
Yeah.
It was like...
Not the question,
what
the
do you
username.
know about me?
Yeah.
That's really weird.
And how did you find out?
Yeah.
Where is
like,
this on the internet? His style and his zest for life looks so cool. What would be his ideal day if nothing else mattered?
Oh. If nothing else mattered, I'd probably spend a lot of money.
Okay.
I love to shop.
Okay.
I love to shop. I like to eat. I like to wander.
Okay.
I'm a wanderer. Like this is going to sound so obnoxious, but I do. One of the things I like about Paris is like you can go there and you literally can just like roll out of like wherever you're staying.
And any cafe.
And just like.
Yep.
Oh,
it's the best.
Like living that fantasy and or more realistic would just be like staying in bed and sitting on my toilet.
How long?
Two of my favorite things.
How long do you sit in your toilet?
Oh.
Not doing anything. That's just where you like to be?
Yeah, because I feel like it's one of those places where people leave you alone.
Yes. There's some privacy.
Yeah, like people just like are like, oh, he's in the bathroom.
Yeah. Give him a minute.
And so whether I'm using it or not, it's just like no one's really going to bother me until I've been in there a little too long. And people are like, are you coming
10
out?
10 minutes? 15 minutes? Like, what's this?
Anywhere from 20 to 45 minutes.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have a squatty potty?
Yeah.
And you're just chilling?
Chilling.
Wow.
Yeah.
Candle?
No.
Light?
Half the light.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just on my phone.
So you'd either be hanging in the toilet or roaming around shopping and eating.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I also like a spa.
A spa's great.
I could do what are those called? Natural hot springs or something.
Amazing.
Like
the hot springs baths.
Yeah.
I would do that.
Great.
All right. I mean, both of these are wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm down for either. All right. Kate Melkonian.
Okay.
Kate said, God, he's so funny. See, I told you, comedian. I love everything about him. Ask him what his favorite treasure is that he bought with his ADHD dollars. LOL.
Oh, my God.
I feel like that's an inside thing maybe I don't know about.
Oh, yeah. Like, I just started a series called ADHD and a Dollar. Okay. Where basically...
Do these ideas come on the toilet?
A lot of them, yeah. Okay. They do. That's where I'm the most brilliant.
Creative, yeah.
Yeah. And basically, it's like... So I think I started my series with like when I thought I was rich. Mm-hmm. Because I just buy so many things.
You shop as if you are rich.
Oh, my God. But it's more like I just get really interested in things. And then I change directions.
Okay.
Or I go a different way. Probably my most insane, or not insane, but I bought this Prada coat.
Okay.
That I had to have. No.
Okay.
It was Raf Simons' first collection with Nuccia for men's. And it's like this, like, you know that, like, satiny whatever fabric, that nylon?
Yep.
It's that in, like, chocolate brown.
Ooh.
And, like, this sweater thing in the inside. It was such an insane purchase because I don't even really wear it ever because it's too heavy.
Because it's too... Oh, not because it's too nice, because it's too heavy.
Oh, my God. I'm a firm believer. I buy nice things all the time, but they're made to use.
Got it. I appreciate that. Some people hoard the good things.
No. That's crazy.
Okay, so this is just too heavy.
Yeah. Maybe the other thing is my best friend who's no longer with us, she had a crazy shoe collection.
Okay.
And so when she passed away, I figured out how to acquire all of her shoes. And I'm a size 13 in men's.
Yeah, you're not wearing
and
her
she
shoes.
has a size 9.5, 10, 9.5, I think. And I have them all.
Yeah, but that's an emotional thing. That's a love connection.
Yeah. I mean, but it's like
memory.
I'm hoarding
someone else's shoes.
30, 40 pairs of shoes
and
or
they're
something.
good shoes.
Oh
like,
my
but no, like
God.
they are.
They're so good. And then they're literally just gonna be. And then as soon as my grandmother passes away, I'm getting all her hats.
Oh my God, you're gonna have a house full of hats and shoes.
Yeah, that I can't wear or use, but I will have them.
These shoes, this is your next Instagram series, is shoes and flower. I mean, there's something brewing with these shoes.
It is. It's brewing, but it's like on the back burner. But that's what I love it. I talked about.
I love it. Well, this has been so much fun. Such a joy to meet you, and I really appreciate your time.
Likewise.
Where can people find you if they want to stalk you as much as I do?
I'm on Instagram at Bloom and Plume.
Yep.
I'm on TikTok now at Makota Fanning.
Oh, so different.
Random.
Same content or different content?
It's different.
Okay.
Yeah, I think people that want to learn more about like the process of how I do things or why I'm actually nuts.
Yep.
Sometimes we'll like cross the content over.
Sure, of course.
But it's a little bit more unhinged.
Great.
On
TikTok. Oh, I love that. Okay.
Yeah. And I have a coffee shop in Echo Park.
Yep. What's the drink they should get? Is there one signature drink? They're all delicious. I've had 4.
People love the Purple Rain latte, which is like a honey lavender latte. That's probably our most popular flavored drink.
Yep.
Seasonally, whatever is on the seasonal menu is temporary.
Okay.
And those drinks are always really good.
Got it.
So right now we have this sweetie pie latte, which is like our version of a pumpkin spice latte.
Because we all love it. We all want it.
Yeah. But we're using sweet potatoes instead of pumpkin.
And sweetie
pie. So
pie.
that one's really, really good. Oh, my favorite though is our Blue Delicious.
Blue Delicious?
Blue Delicious.
Okay.
It's oh my God! There's so much going on.
Did you bring it?
Honestly, I did not. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But it's really good. It has a blueberry puree at the bottom. It's matcha and butterfly pea tea with rose milk.
Oh, rose! I've never had rose milk. Is it as fragrant as? Does it taste the way you think it would?
You really have to use the smallest amount, otherwise it can be really overwhelming.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna have to try that this week.
Very good.
All right. Well, wonderful. So go to his coffee shop, follow him on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah, I'm around.
This was so much fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yes, my pleasure.
Until the next time.
Hopefully
you'll be married by the next time I see you.
Yes, Kyle would love that.
Oh my
He wants to be married tomorrow.
What's the shirt you're wearing?
Marnie.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I like nice things also, but I can't justify buying them unless it's for something like this. But I also then hide it in a closet and I don't wear it every day.
Oh, I see.
So I'm trying to be more of your philosophy.
Silk, I get it.
Yeah.
If that would have been cotton.
Different story.
Different story every day.
I kind of want a uniform, if I'm being honest.
Me too.
Then I don't have to. It's one less thing to think about.
But I'll still buy tons of stuff.
Even with the uniform.
Yeah. I mean, I wear the same thing almost every day.
Sure. It's the act of shopping you love.
Oh, yeah. And the fact that, like, there is going to be a time where I need to wear this thing.
Oh my God, you are Kyle. That's my fiance.
And I'm like, and it's here and it's not going to be there in 2 months.
So you have to get it.
So I need it because in 3 years, when I need to wear this thing, that's when I need it.
This is what I hear on the regular. He literally comes home and he'll like hide things from me. And I'm like, what did you do? And he's like, nothing. And now he's trying to sell some things in consignment that he didn't really love.
I made a lot of money on the real.
But then he went and bought more things in the store that he was trying to sell things on. And he's like, well, we broke even.
Yeah, I like you can get more credit than you can.
Yes, if you sell, then cash.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I refuse to do that
because
I was like, I already know.
I'm going to buy it all.
I already know.
Yes.
Anyway.
It's dangerous. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, so much fun.
Alrighty.
All right, take care.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Weddings-ish.
So excited. Now it's time for Ask Jove, where I answer your questions all about love, life, celebrations, fiancés, parties, travel, really anything you want to know. We've got you covered. I'm joined in studio by my dear friend Sloan, and we are so excited to ask Jove.
All right, Jove. Are you ready for today's question?
I'm ready.
Destination wedding.
Ooh.
Guest-friendly or selfish? We've been daydreaming about our wedding, and the thought of a destination wedding sounds incredible.
Me too, girl.
Hey.
Or guy. I don't know. Who is this?
This is Sarah from Brooklyn.
Hi, Sarah from Brooklyn.
Hi, Sarah. But we're not sure if it's asking too much of our guests to travel. We're thinking of places like Hawaii, Mexico, or the Caribbean.
Okay, far, less far, and a little less far.
Right. How do we decide if it's the right choice? And how do we manage gifts with a destination wedding?
Okay, so we have a two-part question.
Yes.
Maybe three-part. It sounds like she wants a destination wedding.
Absolutely.
But she's feeling a little guilty because people have to shell out a lot of money to get there and stay there. And then if she does it, should she still have a registry?
Right.
Okay, so let's work backwards because I think that's more exciting. I think if you're having a destination wedding, I do not think you should have a registry. I think people are shelling out a lot of money. A flight from New York, Brooklyn, where she's at, to Hawaii is a lot of money.
And time investment.
And time. It's like a 5 or 6 hour time change. I don't believe there's any direct flights, so that's a layover. You know what a layover is? That's love. I only go somewhere that has a layover if there is love involved. You know what I mean? Otherwise, I do not do layovers.
Nonstop.
So now we're talking about a layover. We're talking about money for the flight, and we're talking about hotel and outfits that you probably don't have because you don't live in Hawaii.
Right.
So in the case of a destination wedding, I'm a firm believer that a registry is not necessary. And let's be real, most modern couples are already living together. They already own everything that they want in their life. They've probably moved from their IKEA phase into their West Elm phase, from their college days to their adulting. So like, what is on there that you really need? Like originally a registry was when a couple literally left their parents' homes because they couldn't live together and moved in for the very first time. So there was a need for plates and spoons and knives and cookware and vacuums. But today people are like, I want a Dyson. I want you to upgrade my life for a Dyson.
Could I have the top tier Vitamix, please?
Please. I mean, hello. So I think personally, if it's a destination, no registry. That's me. If your friends have it like that and they want to gift you and they're just rolling in the dough, you do you. Have a registry. I think it's a little gauche for me. All right, second question.
Yes.
As we work backwards, is it selfish?
No.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
The reality is like, why do you have to have a local wedding if your dream is a destination wedding, right? Like inherently, I guess a wedding is selfish. It's a day where everyone's coming to celebrate you and your fiance. So you could call that selfish, but it's also a day, it's an opportunity where those who you love get to come and celebrate you and the person you love. So I don't think it's selfish, but I understand where that's coming from because you're a thoughtful person and now you're saying, I want to get married abroad, but now am I putting an imposition on other people to come to my wedding? I think you look at your list. I love a list. And you highlight. If I get married in Hawaii or Mexico or the Caribbean where there's a flight, who is for sure still going to be able to come and be happy to come? Use it as their vacation, for example.
Correct.
If you give them enough time, that's totally reasonable. Who am I maybe going to lose? And who maybe financially is this going to be hard for? And then assess that way. Because a wedding is about the people that come to it, right? It's about the love in the room. So if you look at your list and the majority of the people this is going to be an imposition for, or you think they won't be able to make it, then that's going to lead your decision. It means you're going to have a smaller wedding, which maybe was your goal. Or if not, then maybe think about something a little bit closer, right? If you still want a destination, maybe you don't want Brooklyn, but there's upstate, there's the Hamptons. but still you're driving 2 or 3 hours. You're still paying for a hotel. The other thought is peak season or off-peak season financially. You know, if you're going to Hawaii over Christmas, it's the most expensive time to be there.
Right.
That feels un peu selfish, like just a little bit like out of touch. You know what I mean? But if you go shoulder season or off-peak season, you don't pick a Saturday, like then there are financial savings that people can see. But no, I don't think you're selfish. We all have dreams about our wedding, what and where. Talk to your fiance, discuss what matters to you. I'm currently in the middle of this same conversation with my fiance. He wants a local wedding in New York. It's easier. We know everyone. It's convenient. I want a small beach in the middle of nowhere.
There you are.
And we're in the same conversation. But ultimately, you know, through conversation and kindness, you will find your way. Which the first part of that question, since we work backwards, I already lost it.
I mean, I think that
Registry,
that's...
selfish.
Yeah, it's not selfish at all. She says the destination wedding sounds incredible.
It is.
So
let me tell you, they are.
They are. They're a ton of fun.
Yes.
And people go there because they want to share in your love with you.
Yes. 100%. But if you're going to do it right.
Yes.
If you're inviting someone far away, you are not just doing a wedding. You must host a welcome party. You must host a brunch. Welcome bags, I feel strongly about. But if you're going to make people go that far, it can't be just for one party. You have to really be a great host. So think about your budget when you're doing that as well, because they're spending a lot to get to you, but you're spending a lot for them to be there as well. So
such good advice.
You'll figure it out. Let us know where you land.
Yeah. Best of luck, Sarah.
Well, that's it for today, and wasn't that fun? Don't forget to send your questions. Again, any questions, send them our way to hi@jovemeyer.com, and maybe I will answer them on air. If you can, send a voice memo. I love to hear your voice.
Weddings-ish.
Thank you again for listening or watching Weddings-ish with Jove. This episode is brought to you by Generation Tux, the perfect suit or tuxedo delivered straight to your door. GenerationTux.com. If you liked today's episode, please subscribe and leave a review on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. We're also super grateful to Mel Flannery for the music on the podcast. She created, produced, and designed all of the music. And don't forget, you can watch Weddings-ish with Jove on Love Stories TV, YouTube, or streaming TV channel. Visit lovestoriestv.com/live for the list of streaming apps.
Weddings-ish.